And we're back. You're watching Sports Federation TV. I'm Lenyukta Chetty. In the house now, we have SAFA Cape Town, and Bayanda Sikiti is here to share news with us about the Coke Cup. Welcome, Bayanda.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, and thanks to the viewers.
Well, now you are the head of department for tournaments and competitions.
Yes, I'm the HOD of competitions for SAFA.
So what kind of work does a portfolio like that entail?
It's basically putting together all SAFA competitions, which there's too many of them, internally and from various clubs who are also affiliates of our LFAs when they host tournaments. So we get involved as the region to assist them in terms of the policies, the rules and regulations, and that's basically the role, So we facilitate, in my department, with my committee, we facilitate all the SAFA competitions. Being a male or female competition, we get involved.
Bayanda, you're no stranger to the show and not to your sport either. Tell us about your history in the sport.
Look, I've been involved personally with the sport when I was still young. That was about 17 years ago. And since then, I was probably gifted with a leadership skill. But back then I didn't know. But as I progressed in life, then opportunities came along. And then I thought, let me get myself involved. I used to play football. But I stopped playing football while I was still young because I had to take care of our other youngsters, So as I'm saying, I was probably gifted with a little bit of knowledge or leadership skill that I currently have.
Yeah, not all athletes can be administrators, and not all administrators can be athletes. But for those of us who have both skill sets, we owe it to our federations, and our colleagues to give back. So, with the Coke Cup coming up now, what is the plans around that tournament?
Look, it's one of our major events, one of our major tournaments, which is run directly by SAFA Cape Town. And currently we're the only region, that is having Coke as one of our major sponsors for this tournament. There's quite a number of other tournaments, that are taking place in Cape Town, but Coke becomes our best showpiece, for SAFA Cape Town. So the plans are in place, as usual. However, we always work very hard to bring the tournament or to better the tournament, year in, year out. So we've been running this competition for a very, very long time now, and it has been successful, every single year as we go along.
Where are you now in terms of tournament progression?
Look, now we're having the last 32 coming up this coming weekend, that on its own simply means we're getting towards, or we're edging towards the best and exciting times of the competition. Because the competition starts from for seniors, which is the male. We've got under 18s, and then you've got the ladies. Now, from the males, start from probably, depending on the number of teams that enters, but it's normally start from 420 teams.
Oh, wow.
Or even, I know last year we started from, 2 years ago we started from 500 and some odd, but obviously it depends on the number of entries that we receive. And we accommodate and accept every single club to be involved. Obviously for women's, it's not restricted, but there aren't too many women clubs, that are out there. So whoever that is there and are willing to take part in the Coke, we accommodate those people to be part of the program.
So you said you started with about 420 teams, and you're down to the last 32 now.
32, yes.
Who are some of the teams to look out for?
Look, when it comes to the seniors, the last year's champions are still in it, which is Young Pirates from Helderberg. I know they were champions last year. We still have Clinton, involved as well. And there's quite a lot of other clubs that are junior clubs that are also involved. You know, obviously from one of the unknown teams that has probably kind of never expected to be there is 7 Attackers from Philippi. And then from the ladies side, we've got quite a number of clubs, your top football class, you know, clubs such as your UWCs, your Spares, your Cape Town Roses, you know, your RV Uniteds, you know, they're still in it. So it's very difficult to say, hey, who's going to win it, because all the best are still there.
Where can people watch these matches?
We've got venues that are we've got Bondeville. Sunday we've got games in Philippi. We've got games in that's Bondeville, Philippi, and Heiderveld. You know, that's where we are over this coming weekend, and that's where we're having our last 32. So the games have been split equally into half to all those 4 LFAs, all those 3 LFAs.
What does a tournament like this mean for LFAs?
Look, it means, you know, one, it means it's an opportunity, you know, for each and every single club, you know, to showcase the talent. And it's also an opportunity for every single LFA, you know, to compete or to provide opportunities to compete, you know, in such a prestigious tournament. Because like I said, it's one of those tournaments, it's quite a long tournament, you know, because it doesn't run over a period of a month or 2. It takes probably vast of the year in terms of our program, you know, but it's an opportunity, you know, for every single club to say, hey, I want to be part of this program. I've got a team that can compete, and hence it's growing every single year, because any team that loses out in the quarterfinals or in the last 32, they want to come back next year stronger and better. So, and it's a competition that is carrying a lot of surprises. You know, I mean, people who knows that some of the teams would be out and losing to a so-called smaller teams. It's been happening.
Yeah. Do you have talent scouts there and those sort of things?
We've got internally we've got a department. We call it it's a technical department. They send scouts to these games, you know, and these are the guys that are looking out for players, you know, for our regional team, so that we can have a strong team to compete at provincial level, and obviously have a number of our players dominating at national level, which currently it has been a norm, you know, for SAFA Cape Town, you know, both male and female. We've been dominating in terms of numbers when we go to national level, you know, but we do have those scouts. And also we have, we are so fortunate that we've got someone like Desiree Ellis, you know, for the women's side, who's also currently a caretaker coach for the national Banyana team. She's based in Cape Town, so every now and then she goes around and she do look for players, you know, and it's also an opportunity. As I'm saying, this is a platform for a male or female to promote and showcase the talent, and chances are there.
Now, Bayanda, what will the top achieving LFAs be rewarded with at the end of the Coke Cup?
Look, there are prize monies, you know, for the clubs that are winning the competition. I know with the seniors, we're talking about 35Ks, and then the under 18s, we're talking about 20Ks, and then the women's, we're talking about roughly 15Ks. And these are the amount of monies that when a club receives this kind of money, I mean at LFA level, we run clubs from our own pockets, you know. So it becomes a major boost, you know, for clubs to get such amount of monies, because at the end of the day, they didn't have that amount of money. So all they had to do, they had to just showcase and give their best, and then they will qualify to win those amounts.
And now you say the Coke Cup has been happening for years now. Have you been seeing a steady growth in participation in terms of the number of LFAs that register every year?
A lot, a lot, and we monitor this situation when it comes to the registration process, at SAFA. the minute you start the Coke, the registration goes very high in such a way that at some stage we have to get extra people to assist, you know, the registration officers to make sure that we fast track the process of registration. You know, that's basically one. And then secondly, the number of teams, because in the good old days, you know, the so-called township clubs used to be very reluctant to take part in this competition because they were feeling
Intimidated.
it's intimidated and it's not for us because I'm not going to win it anyway. But people have seen there's opportunities there, and it's not a matter of we decide who's playing who. The draw, you know, which is an open draw that is seen by everybody, is the decider. And from there, at certain stage, you know, from the last 32, it's agreed. So it's agreed that you know very well, if I win this game, then I'll play the winner of that game. So it's not a matter of I was played against a stronger team because they wanted us to be out. It's a matter of people just compete and give their best.
Right. So let's talk SAFA Cape Town now. What is your league structure for the LFAs?
Look, what is happening is, in fact, I'll assume that your question is based on the kind of leagues that we run, you know, with our LFA. Look, we work with about plus minus 37 LFAs, you know, and like I said, we're one of the biggest regions, not in Cape Town, but in the country by far in terms of the number of LFAs that we have. So what happens is each and every LFA will run their own internal leagues, and then from there, at the end of the season, which is at about end of September or beginning of October, we normally have an SAB League playoff where all the winners from various LFAs will come together and will compete, and there's two spots available for those two that win to go up and play in the SAB League. So, and there's also a program called SAFA Junior League, which also assists a little bit in terms of funding, you know, some LFAs, you know, because people need funds, you know, to administrate these programs. So that SAFA Junior League, it's a program where it's basically targeted at juniors. So every LFA, they must have their own junior programs that they run, which in terms of, it's there, the rules are there, in terms of the policies, how to run that program. And they must just submit that information, you know, to SAFA. We've got also inter-LFAs, you know, but I must say some of this program we've been hit hard, you know, this year with the situation of drought in Cape Town, you know, facilities not up to speed, you know, but we felt football has to continue. We're not going to stop because of that. So we went ahead and played these kind of programs. And quite frankly, we are on the verge of moving towards the end of Coke now, you know, with all those kind of dilemmas, but we managed to go through, and this is where we are now.
Excellent. Vyanda, how can people get in touch with SAFA Cape Town for more information or for budding players?
Look, it's the easiest exercise. They can contact the office directly. You know, we've got reliable staff members, you know, the office manager, which is Mone Barnes. You know, there is a number which is 021-637-2312, and they can just contact Mone, and then they can send information. They can get the necessary email addresses or more contact details from him, and they will send in whatever they need to know, and then we will respond and assist them.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us today.
So most welcome. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. Remember to catch these interviews and previous interviews. Please like our Facebook page, that's Sports Federation TV. The show is broadcast every Friday night at 9 p.m., repeated Saturday at 8 a.m. Remember, for your chance to win that case of assorted Bashers drinks, all you need to do is SMS Bashers to 33090. That's Bashers to 33090. We hope you find a sport that's just perfect for you. And whatever sport you're playing this week, lekker speel.